All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of the Dear Herbalist podcast titled Misinformation, How to Navigate. So let me first off celebrate for a moment because it's episode 20, y'all. Yay! Yay! Hallelujah! We are celebrating at every hand. So y'all throw your hands up, get them organs revved up, and let's go. This is episode 20, y'all. Thank you so much for listening in. If you are new, you are so welcome here. And if you are returning, thank you so much for listening, and supporting the Dear Herbalist podcast. Where on this podcast, I talk to my fellow herbalists about everything that is in our field, our ups, our downs, our joys, our headaches. We're going to talk about it all here on the Dear Herbalist podcast. So, misinformation, let's get into it. Now, I decided to do a misinformation podcast because it's so much misinformation out there. And oftentimes I know people ask me a lot of questions about things that they may have heard on TikTok or Instagram, or maybe somebody in their family heard something. And so oftentimes some of these claims are so strange. I'm just like, huh? Like, that don't even sound like it's true, but it's a lot of information out there. And so in some of that is some misinformation. It's just some straight out lies, things that are not factual at all. So you as an herbalist, I know that you've heard some of these things. I know people have approached you and asked you some of these questions about some of these random, weird, just bold, flat out lies, that's not true when it comes to herbal medicine. So let's begin by talking about what misinformation actually is. Okay. And then after that, we will dive into the characteristics. All right. So you know how to identify it when you see it, when you hear about it, all of that. So misinformation refers to false or inaccurate information that is spread. Sometimes it's unintentional, okay, but it goes through various channels. It can be misleading, it could be incorrect or incomplete, and it has the potential to create confusion, misunderstanding, and misinterpretation. So those are the fruits of misinformation: confusion, misunderstanding, and misinterpretation. Keep that in mind. All right, so let's look at some of the characteristics of misinformation. First one is inaccuracy. So misinformation contains factual errors, or what we would call inaccuracies. Okay. It can present information that is not supported by evidence, research, or established knowledge from a particular field. So in other words, no receipts. Okay. One of the examples of an inaccuracy is that herbal medicine is 100% safe. Okay. Now, a lot of people are like, what? It is 100% safe. Well, one of the things that you have to factor in is that it does tend to interact. Certain herbs and plants can interact with prescription medicines. Okay. Also, if the herbal remedy is not prepared properly, it then can become unsafe. Okay. So the side effects are minimal from herbs. All right. But when we're talking about safety, there's too many factors involved to what makes herbal medicine safe for people to just make this blanket statement like, oh, it's 100% safe, 100% safe. So people are like, oh, okay, cool. So I can take, St. John's wort with my heart medication, no problem. So you got to be careful with that. Another characteristic of misinformation is lack of credibility. So misinformation often originates from sources that lack credibility. These sources may not have a history of reliability, or they may have a bias that influences the information that they present. So an example of this can be a company selling a particular herbal supplement. They may fund or promote studies that highlight only positive results while ignoring or downplaying any potential risk or limitations that it may have. All right. Another characteristic is sensationalism. So misinformation tends to use exaggerated or sensational language to grab attention. It may make bold claims or promise extraordinary results or use emotional language without a solid base in facts. Okay. Now, how are sensationalists able to be successful in our field? It's simple. They are able to speak to that inner laziness in people. That's my theory. Okay. Hasn't been tested, but I've seen it enough. They are able to speak to that inner laziness in people, the people that want a quick fix, or maybe they're not lazy, but they're desperate and they want help fast. Maybe they got that call that says, you've got 6 months to live, 3 months to live, 2 weeks to live. So out of desperation, they're like, I'm willing to do anything, try anything, but I need something to happen now. So, it's kind of one of two people. Now, as herbalists, we must be able to recognize this and have, because I'm sure we've all ran into these type of people. They just want the quick fix. They don't want anything that requires any type of real work. And this is how they fall victim to all of these sensational claims. All right. Another characteristic is what we call confirmation bias. So misinformation can be influenced by confirmation bias, where individuals or sources selectively present or interpret information to support any type of pre-existing beliefs or opinions rather than presenting a more balanced view. All right. Presenting both sides of being fair, not just like cherry picking certain ideas to just fit your narrative. So an example of this is, let's say a popular remedy is claimed to have significant benefits for a certain health condition. Let's choose anxiety. So individuals who, are proponents of this remedy, they may actively seek out and share, the anecdotal stories or studies that support the effectiveness of this medicine, but they will ignore, or discredit any conflicting evidence or reports of adverse effect. So they'll try to tuck away those things, those negative sides or negative aspects, of the remedy. And you don't want to do that. You want to be able to provide a well-rounded, balanced view, so that people can have all the information rather than let me just only give them the positive sides of things. That's really not responsible. All right. Another characteristic is rapid spread. Okay. Of course, we've seen this, with the advent of social media, online platforms. Misinformation can go faster than the speed of light, and it can be shared everywhere. All right. And of course, you got the sensationalism, you got the language, you got the drawing the emotions, you got all that. And people are just accepting information as truth without even really thinking about, is this true? Really? Do I really have the proof? Did this person prove it to me? Are they even credible? Okay. Another characteristic is no clear attribution. All right. So no proper sourcing. Or receipts, as we like to say. So there's no references, there's no citations, there's no identifiable authors. They're not providing, hey, check this link out. Nothing. It's just believe what I said because I say so. And in our field, you cannot do that. You have to be able to back up what you're saying, prove what you're saying. And if people don't believe it, it doesn't matter. Just lay the truth at their feet and keep it moving. But you got to be able to provide receipts as well so that people can go and get this information themselves. Because a lot of times people don't just believe, what may come out of your mouth. Maybe they've been hurt before, lied to before, bamboozled, hoodwinked, before. And here you come, the good old, honest, happy herbalist. And they're kind of like, you probably just one of them same old ones out here trying to make all these claims to get me to try something. And then you actually are somebody that's genuine. Okay. So how you show them you're genuine, how you show them you're different is like, hey, this is what I'm saying. And here's some information for you to go check out yourself. Go look it up for yourself and then make your decision from there. All right. But, misinformation, there is no clear attribution. There is no source. There are no receipts. Okay. All right. Resistance to correction. So misinformation may persist even when corrected. All right. Now, I know you've seen on TikTok sometimes where you have people coming in and they'll stitch certain things and they'll say, hey, this person said this, but this is actually not true. Well, that particular stitch may only get, let's say 200 views, but the lie, may have gotten 50,000. Right. And people are like, oh, that's not true. Well, how you know? And da 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 da. So it's resistance. People are like, nope. What that person said aligns with what I believe, whether it's true or not. And that's the road I'm walking down. You're saying something that is opposite. to what I believe. It don't feel right, don't sit right with me. So nah, I'm not going to do it. Again, no facts, no proof, no receipts. You can provide all that. The other person can provide none of that. And yet, they're charismatic. They may be even cute. They got all the right words, all the butter on the bread. And next thing you know, the person is sitting on a table getting their kidneys cut out because of Mr. Sensational or Mrs. Sensational over here. All right, let's try not to be one of them people. All right. Another characteristic, and this is the last characteristic, okay, of misinformation is exploitation of emotions. So misinformation might play on emotions to manipulate readers or viewers. It can invoke fear, outrage, excitement, and the whole goal is to influence individuals to be emotional, to have an emotional response, and then with that emotional response have a reaction. So grab your purse or grab your wallet and do and buy something. Okay, so for herbalists, how to start and set yourself up in this field, it is important, that you be whoever you say you are without all the extra trying to tug on people's emotions and all these marketing tricks employ. If you start out tugging on people's emotions just to simply make $1, then you're going to have to continue to do that, to fill their bottomless emotional tank. All right. So stick to the facts. There are over 7.8 billion people in the world. Trust me, you're going to have somebody out there that's going to listen to you. You don't have to have the dog and pony show just to get people to believe you. Put the information at their feet, put the facts, or, if you see them face to face, give them some stuff to look at and read on their own, shake your hands clean and keep it moving. There's more work to be done. All right. But don't join in on the misinformation train with some of these other people. Now, how do you navigate misinformation? I kind of gave you some characteristics of what it looks like. So when you see it, you'll know. Once you're seeing it and in it, now how do you navigate? So navigating through misinformation is crucial for herbalists to ensure that they provide accurate and safe guidance. So I'm going to give you about 5 tips to help you discern and navigate through all of this sea of information that you hear out there. And it is a lot. I'm sure you guys hear it all the time or see it on everywhere. All right. So number 1, verify sources and credentials. Okay, always check the credibility of the sources that you consult. Look for information from reputable herbalists. You can look at scientific studies, well-established herbal organizations. Consider the person that's talking to you. Who is that? Is this person even credible themselves? Or have they done this before? Are they experienced with this particular herb? And how is how they talk about it. Okay. But again, the true teachers out there, you'll know them. They really want you to know, and they'll provide those receipts. All right. All right. Another thing is cross-reference information. Okay. Cross-referencing information from multiple sources helps you to validate whether or not it's accurate. So if a particular herb's properties or uses are consistent across various reputable texts or websites or experts, it adds credibility to the information. And I use the law of threes. Find at least 3 reliable sources to confirm the claim, and make sure that there are a variety of sources. So you may use a scientific text, a website, an elder herbalist or something like that. But get 3 so that way you can verify this claim yourself. And if it doesn't hold water, then you already know what to do with it. Another tip is to stay informed on scientific research. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. As herbalists, we have to look at some of this scientific research. We cannot leave that to the side. It's like, well, they don't know what they're talking about. But there are people from all over the world who have studied thoroughly a lot of variety of herbs. They've done the work. And unless you have a lab in your house, in your kitchen, or on your deck, it's helpful to be able to talk to the people or read the work of the people that have done the research, that have had the labs, that can do the things that, we can't do at home. All right. And scientific studies can provide evidence-based insights into the efficiency as well as the safety of various herbs. So you can look at peer-reviewed journals, also some reliable databases for the most accurate and current information. I go to PubMed to look up scientific research on plants, and there's tons of different resources that you can use. Okay. I don't know why my voice is getting gritty, and I'm taping this and I don't have any water. That's not smart. You're going to be talking. All right. Another tip is question anecdotal evidence. Okay. Now, while personal experiences and anecdotes are very valuable, they should be approached with caution. Okay. Because anecdotal evidence may not be applicable to everyone, and individual responses to herbs can vary. Okay. Where one herb may work for this person, it done all these great things. Well, for you, it may not work at all. Okay. So consider a wide range of experiences and make sure you prioritize evidence that aligns, with research and facts. All right. Another thing, and I kind of said that before, consult with experienced herbalists. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. They can provide valuable insights based on years of practical experience and knowledge. Get involved with herbal communities, attend workshops, online courses, participate in forums where herbalists are sharing their wisdom and experience. This can help you as well. Okay. This is my experience with it, or this is, what I found when I used it, or, what I mean? Just a wide wealth of information. Okay. But remember, misinformation can be pervasive. All right. So you really do have to have a critical eye and a discerning spirit in order to be able to understand, okay, if this is truly misinformation or not, if the plants are safe or not, if they're effective. You got to be able to discern these things. It's very important. It's not just about the head knowledge. You got to have that spiritual sense as well. And it's very important. All right. I hope you guys can't hear that. I think it's a train coming through my neighborhood. That's the funny thing and the real thing about podcasts. It's like me. I had, I'm speaking past tense, what they call perfection paralysis. So I want everything to be right, the audio to be right, everything. And it's like, what? Just get out there and work the kinks out along the way, because I'll spend so much time planning that I'll look up and it's like, okay, it's like 3 months later and you still haven't started the podcast. So I'm just going to roll with it. When I started this podcast, in the beginning, my first take on it, my dog was shifting her body in her cage and banging around. And I'm looking at her like, if you don't go to sleep, this is why I do my podcast at night, because everybody's asleep and I'm not expecting to hear banging around. I'm like, so go to sleep, chick. So this that I'm speaking through now, this is my second take and I'm happy to be here. This is just the realness of it, y'all. So you may hear, trains in the back, dog tail slapping around. I want to stay professional, but at the same time, I want to be real. Can't be so polished that it seems like everything is in alignment. And, my purpose is, but some other things along the way need to work on. And I understand that I'm an imperfect human being, but just trying to get some information out there. So I hope you guys are with me. All right. Now, let's talk about some skills that you need in order to detect misinformation. Okay. Like I said before, it's a combination, okay, of critical thinking. You got to be able to discern. And then you also got to be able to have skills to go read and research and those kind of things. Okay. Now, the general public may not have all of these skills, but as herbalists, we are without excuse, because we have people that come to us and that depend on us for information or to validate information. And it's not that we need to know it all, but we have to have the principles of it all. So we have to have those critical thinking skills. We have to have the ability to research and check it out. And then we have to have discernment as well, to be able to hear our spirit speaking when it's like, yeah, that's true, or no, that's a lie, and go look in this resource right here. So we have to have these skills. Okay. And we have to be careful not to be spreaders of misinformation ourselves. So we too have to do our due diligence to make sure that we are giving our clients accurate information. We're pulling it in for ourselves. And so, yeah, it's going to require a little work on our part, but we can do it. We got this. All right. So the first skill, like I said, critical thinking. Okay. Develop the ability to analyze information objectively, question the content and its sources. Okay, you got to evaluate the evidence, consider some alternative viewpoints, assessing logic and reasoning behind this given piece of information. Okay, these things are very important when it comes to critical thinking. All right. Another skill is source evaluation. So you have to learn to assess the credibility of information's sources. Consider the author's qualifications, the publication platform. If it's jimmysherbal.com and he's only been around for 2 minutes, and it's like and he's not providing any receipts, he just putting something together because he felt like it, just be careful with that, right? And then, does this particular source that you're getting this information from, does it have a history of providing accurate and reliable information? Okay, reputable sources are more than likely to offer trustworthy content. Okay, another thing, media literacy. This is another skill. So you want to enhance your understanding of all media formats, platforms, be aware of the potential biases in different media outlets and formats. So, some may be more conservative, some may be liberal. So, what I mean? It's very clear in some platforms what the agenda is. So sometimes there could be a bias there in what they promote, and you want to be aware of that if you're going to use that potential source, because they're only going to present one side of this coin because that's what they subscribe to. That's what their brand is about. But me being a responsible herbalist, I need to know both sides of that coin. I need to know all angles of that diamond so that I can know it myself, and then also be able to share it with the people that believe in me and trust in my word. Okay. So you want to understand how information is presented, including how they're using images and headlines and languages, as these factors can influence the way that information is perceived. And is it that deep? Yes, it is that deep if you want to be credible yourself and successful. Okay. All right. Another thing skill set that you'll need is research skills. Okay. Strengthen your research abilities to verify information. Learn how to use reliable search engines, databases, and academic sources. All right. Cross-reference information from multiple sources. This can all help you confirm whether it's accurate or not. And with the information, you can look at the inconsistencies as well. All right. Another skill is fact-checking. Okay. There's a lot of fact-checking tools and websites, that you can look at to verify some of these claims and things like that. Again, you got to be careful, make sure there's no bias there, especially in our field. A lot of times things for us aren't heavily promoted. So, yeah, they're going to say, no, that particular herb doesn't cure cancer. There's no evidence of that. And it turns out there is. So you got to be careful. Again, check those biases as well, depending on which site. Me personally, just being honest, I always lean more towards the science aspect of it. And I do that because the human body is very organized. The plant body is very organized. So if you're coming to me and you're saying that this particular plant does this for the body, there's science to back that up, because botany is science, anatomy and physiology is science. So I tend to look at things from that perspective rather than just listening to what people say and just take it as facts. Even as an herbalist, it's easy for me to show people from a scientific perspective. You know what I mean? What is really happening with the body when this herb touches it from a chemical standpoint. It's easier to explain it that way rather than just having this blanket statement like, oh, you need to alkalinize your body and get rid of the acid. Okay, it's general, but you need to go a little deeper than that as an herbalist. All right. And so a lot of that, I don't necessarily say, hey, this person said this and I take it as gospel. I tend to lean more towards, how can I prove this? Let me go look at what the body can do. Let me look at what the plant body can do, and how, based on that understanding and chemistry, do I know that they work together. So that's just me. Now, somebody else might go to joeschmo.com or billyb.net and try to, figure out if what they say is true or not. Me, I may hear it and then I turn around and go look at the science aspect of it. But, and I think you should do that too. But, you're grown. Do what you want to do. I'm just giving my little 2 cents. All right. Another thing is digital forensics. So acquire basic digital forensic skills to assess the authenticity of online content. Okay. So this includes understanding how to trace the origin of images, videos, or quotes, and recognizing the signs of manipulation or misinformation on digital platforms. So you may have people on there, we all know this, in the era of AI, Photoshop, all this, people, lying and putting different images here and there. So yeah, you need to know those things. Again, I'm only speaking as an herbalist, to herbalists. We need to know these things. If we're using videos or images, we need to make sure that they haven't been tainted or tampered with, especially if we're going to use them in our businesses or in our promo things, or if we're at a conference and we use a clip and somebody's like, wait, that's not what he said. You don't want to get embarrassed. So they call that digital forensics. But, in simple terms, you want to make sure that you understand that the images that are in front of your face, they are the true images, or that the videos have not been tampered with, no CGI or any of that other crazy stuff. All right. Another characteristic is, be aware of your own cognitive biases and how they may influence your perception of the information that you're getting. Okay. Understanding those basic things will help you in how you approach information and making sure that you stay objective. And I know for me, I had to really work on that, because in my earlier phases of research and all that, I was just so angry with the medical community, and I was so angry with everything that I knew that, I was just really grasping a hold to the information that says, yeah, this is a lie, and that's a lie, and this is a lie, and that's right, I knew it. That I didn't take the time to really think about the side of the house of things that could be true. But I didn't care, just because I was so mad. I was just like, yeah, that's true. That don't make no sense. And it's like, you're 50% right. So, and that takes some maturity, you know what I mean? So be aware of any type of biases that you may hold of your own, whether it be that, the medical community sucks, or whether it be, just whatever it is, whatever it is, acknowledge it, so that when you are looking at all types of information, even these scientific studies, okay, you're able to look at it from an objective eye and not look at it through the lens of your own bias. All right. And another thing, stay informed about current events. So keep yourself updated on current events and trends. Be aware of the developments. And this can kind of help you contextualize the information that you're getting and identify if it aligns with the broader narrative, right? Or if it seems out of place. Okay, is this something that is consistent within the herbalist community? Or is this something that y'all just threw in there that makes absolutely no sense, but somebody's making some money off of it? So be aware of those things. All right. So in herbal medicine, the bottom line, all right, the bottom line about misinformation is that it possesses a significant risk to both us as herbalists as well as our consumers. This misinformation, all right, can lead to improper use of herbs, potential health risk, and it can hinder the effective practice of herbal medicine. So we have to be very wise. We have to be very alert and make sure that the information we give is accurate, but also information that others are giving. Now, we can't control what they do. All right. But if you have a client that comes to you and says, hey, I heard that this can do this. I heard this can get rid of this immediately. You have a right response to give them. All right. The other thing, like I said before, it is crucial for herbalists to cultivate strong critical thinking skills, verify information from reputable sources, and stay informed about the latest research, because research is ongoing. All right. Now, by fostering a discerning mindset and promoting evidence-based practices, herbalists can contribute to a safer and more credible landscape in herbal medicine, ensuring that individuals receive accurate and reliable guidance for their well-being. We want to be a light. We want to be the salt of the earth. We don't want to be just that other snake oil salesman that I talked about several podcasts ago. All right, that's trying to make a buck. There's enough of those out there. We need people that are standing strong, standing on truth, that are trying to help those who want it. Can't help everybody, but those who want it, we are trying to help them. And one of the best ways that we can help them is not to jump on this misinformation train. So stay educated out there, stay humble, and until next time, if you like what you heard, please stay tuned for more informative podcasts. You can hear this and future podcasts on Spotify as well as YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Also, please follow me on all social media sites at The Demystified Herbalist. And if you are looking for some herbal products to help you address your health needs, head on over to my website at thedemystifiedherbalist.square.site. And until next time, family, I'm out.